Listen, I am all for DIY haircuts. I love seeing people cutting their own hair at home. It saves you money, it saves you time, it gives you all the power to cut your hair in exactly the way that you want to cut. But if you're cutting your hair at home and you're using scissors like this, that sound like this, we've got a problem. So we're going to talk about this today, as well as some of the other common hair cutting mistakes to make sure that we are cutting our own hair the right way. So yeah, let's just get into it. The first important thing to remember when you are cutting your own hair is to do a consultation. So a consultation is a pretty normal part of a salon haircut, but it's also important to do when you're cutting your own hair at home. So the first thing that I like to do when I'm cutting my hair is just like take a good look at it and think about how I usually style it, how I want it to look when I have it styled in the way that I want to style it, how much of it is dead, how much needs to come off for it to be actually healthy. And I will also look at some pictures to use as examples to help me get a better idea of what it is that I want. I'll put my inspiration pictures here for you guys so you can see what I'm trying to do today. It's not going to be too drastically different from what it is now. It's more of just a trim, but I will be taking some length off the bottom. I will be trimming up my layers a little bit. They are kind of grown out. And then also giving myself a little bit more of a bang, which I'm very excited for. It's probably the thing that'll take the longest, but yeah, consultation, very important. You have to make sure you know what you're doing to your hair and what it is exactly that you want before you even grab your scissors. I'm gonna part my hair all the way down the middle, and I will link all of the products I'm using for you guys in the description box. I also should mention that this is where I've been parting my hair the most lately, just in the middle, so that's why I have it parted in the middle, but always make sure you have your hair parted where you usually part it when you style it. Otherwise it might not look right when you cut it. I've given my hair a nice comb through and it is ready to be cut. It's gonna be like a few inches coming off for me before I actually cut it. Basically how I know what needs to come off is where it's like really thin, like where there's like holes in it, you know? So that's about 2 inches. All of this stuff. So let's do it. Another important thing to remember when you are cutting your own hair is to consider your hair type and also the amount of time and effort it's going to take to style the cut that you are giving yourself. Because if you try to give yourself a cut that you saw on somebody with straight hair but your hair's actually naturally curly, your haircut's probably not going to come out the way you want it to, at least not when you wear your hair in its natural curly state. So consider your hair type and how you normally wear your hair, because that will depend how the haircut you're trying to give yourself will work for your hair. So all of the pictures that I tried to take as inspo for this haircut were kind of styled in a similar way that I've been styling my hair lately. So I know that when I do style my hair like this in the way that I have it today, it's gonna look the same as it did when I cut it. So definitely need to consider your hair type and how you normally wear it, or how you would like to wear it, and if that even works for the cut that you're trying to get. Look at this difference. Oh my god, it's crazy how it's literally immediate. Wow. Okay, now let's talk about scissors, because this is one of my biggest pet peeves when I see people cutting their own hair, which always makes me so happy. I'm always so glad when I see people like taking the initiative to cut their own hair, because I honestly think that anyone can do it and it saves you so much money and time, and I just think it's awesome the more DIY beauty things we can do ourselves. But then I see that they're using kitchen scissors like this, and the noise that the scissor makes is like this. It's terrible. It drives me crazy because I'm like, you're doing your haircut yourself, which is great, but now you might be potentially causing more damage to your hair by using these super dull scissors that are not made to cut hair. So by far, one of the most important things, in my opinion, when you are cutting your own hair is having a good pair of scissors. These ones that I'm using today are from Amazon. They were like $20 or $30. So I feel like there's not even any excuses. I mean, you don't even have to spend a ton of money. There are plenty of good, affordable options out there, so you can still be saving money, but cut your hair at home without potentially causing more splits and more damage. And I will link these exact ones that I'm using down below for you guys if you want to check them out. They were, I'm pretty sure they were like $23 or $24 or something, but they're good. But yeah, if you are putting all the work in to cut your own hair at home, then please get yourself a good pair of scissors. Before you even think about cutting your hair, make sure you have that good pair of scissors and just do it the right way. How insane is it how much thicker my hair looks instantly? I've been needing this haircut for so long overdue. One more thing I forgot to mention about the scissors. You should hear almost nothing when you cut your hair. Listen to this. It's quiet. I use these and I'm not even gonna try to use these on my hair. It's not good. Not good. Now, I'm gonna move on to layers, and I'm not 100% sure what I'm doing with my layers because I've been trying to grow them out, but now I feel like it's kind of gotten a little bit heavy near my ends, which is kind of what I wanted, but also they need a little trim. So I think I'm just gonna take off a little bit of the layers. The way I do that is by taking a section from around the part, and then I'm gonna create a little guide with this. I have lots of tutorials on my channel, you guys, if you wanna see like a proper how-to on this. I'm gonna go with about that much off the layers. And I always point cut my layers. Keeps them way more soft and natural looking. Hopefully that's enough. Honestly, I don't know. Literally sweating right now. Oh my gosh. Okay, so now I have my guide for my layers. Hopefully that's better. I think that'll be okay. I could go shorter, but probably should. Oh my goodness. Okay, I'm actually cutting like another inch off. This might be a bad idea. Imagine I ruined my hair while I'm trying to tell you guys what the most common mistakes are. Okay, that feels good. Okay, now I have my guide for my layers. So I'm gonna go in and cut all of those. Here's my guide. Okay, another important thing that I just thought of actually is using a comb, because I see some people just going in and like cutting like this, which is fine, but you will end up missing a lot of hairs if you don't use a comb. So when you're just using your hand and going like this and then you cut, if you brush through that now, there's gonna be some loose hairs that didn't get cut that are like now gonna be pulling out and just making it look a little bit less crisp and clean. So definitely use a comb if you can, at least to like get all of those knots out before you actually comb. But I'm just gonna speed through the rest of these layers and then we'll move on to bangs. Okay, I think the layers are done. Feels a lot better. Hair all over my face. Feels just so much lighter, and like I can feel there's no more split ends. It's the best feeling. Although hair all over you is not the best feeling. Okay, so time for bangs. I'm super excited. I'm gonna keep the idea pretty much the same for bangs, but I want them to be a lot shorter so that they have a lot more of a swoop. It's the goal, like my Insta pictures. So I think there's no right way to do bangs, or there is, but I'm not gonna do it. I'm gonna start by taking a small section from the front and making my guide. Another important thing to remember, which is definitely gonna come in handy for me right now when I'm about to cut these bangs, start small. Because if you start by taking off 4 inches, you can't put that hair back on. So now you're stuck with whatever length you just cut those to, but you could have just done it 4 different times, taking an inch off every time and get the same result. So start small. If you're not sure like what you want to do or what will look good on you, start with half an inch, and go from there, because you can always take more off, but you cannot put it back on. Bangs especially, because that is where you can really change your whole haircut for better or for worse, and we don't want to be worse. I do have a pretty good idea of where I want these to sit. I'm gonna go right above my lip, and I might go a bit shorter, but I'm gonna start with that, and then this will be my guide for the rest of the bangs. Also, always point cut bangs. Okay, now I'm gonna do this very much starting small. I'm gonna just take a little bit at a time, slide my scissors down. I want the bangs to be very soft. I don't want anything too heavy, so I'm just gonna go really small, really little with this and just build on it. And while I'm doing this, another important thing I wanted to mention was to think about the proportions. So the idea with any haircut really should be to create balance. And so if you're cutting bangs that are up here above your eyebrows, but then the rest of your hair is at your waist, it's gonna look a little bit off because the proportions are way different. So that is another important thing to keep in mind when you are cutting your hair, especially if you're doing like bangs or layers. You don't want layers that are this short, but then hair that's down to your butt. Like, it just doesn't make any sense. I mean, maybe it does for somebody, but it's definitely something to think about. It's hard to talk and cut bangs at the same time, you guys. But yeah, so proportions are very important. The goal should always be to create balance, to have movement, to have a shape that make sense for your face shape, and just having like lengths that work together. They're not like so contrasted. And speaking of face shape, another thing to keep in mind when you are thinking about like the proportions and where to put your bangs and your layers and all of that, it is a good idea to think about your face shape for one, because different cuts and different styles look better on different face shapes, which might be for a different video, I don't know. What I always try to do, and this is something that you should do in the consultation, just look at your face and try to think about where there's a spot where you really want to accentuate. So for me, with the bangs, I kind of was looking at this like point just under my cheekbone, because I like how it has like a contour effect there, you know? So that is kind of where I want my bangs to fall, because that is a very naturally flattering part in my face. So then when my hair falls there, it kind of accentuates that part of my face instead of being kind of down here. And I have a very round face, so if I were to cut a lot of layers all right down here, it would make my face look more wide, because that's where all of the weight is, and that's where I'm accentuating. So definitely keep your face shape in mind, keep your favorite features in mind, and like where are those spots that you really want to highlight and kind of draw attention to, and also the spots that you want to draw more away from. I always love to texturize my bangs and like keep them just very light and feathery, because that will help them get more movement when I style them. Look at that. I like how the shorter pieces are coming more to that point that I was pointing out earlier. And then this one is kind of coming to my chin, which I think looks pretty good. I don't know if I want to do really more than that. So I think what I'm going to do now is just blend that with the side of my hair here. And I am going to like touch up my face framing a bit too, but it was mainly these bangs that I wanted to shorten and just like give a little bit more life to, because they were so flat before. So now I'm just going to work on blending this kind of top layer together. Get rid of this heavy spot. Sorry guys, I just can't talk while I'm doing this. This is what I was talking about when I said I'm not going to do the right way to cut bangs, because I'm not really following any like particular method right now. I'm just kind of like keeping them soft and just paying special attention to how they're laying and how they're swooping, because that to me is more important than the exact length. I think that looks pretty good though. I think I'm just going to thin them out a little bit more, do some texturizing. And then I'm going to do that on this side now before I move on to the rest of the face framing. But look at the difference, you guys. This side is so much more flat. I feel like this just has like instantly more life and movement, and it's more flattering on my face too. I'm happy with that. I'm gonna repeat it on this side. This is the hard side, but I'm gonna try my best. Hardest part is getting the two bang sides to be the same length. That's why it's important to start small. Always go back and take off more, and I can go in as many times as I need to get them to be the same. But once I cut more off and now it's all of a sudden shorter than the other side, the first side, that's when we have a problem. I'm also doing a combination of so many different cutting methods right now, but the safest bet with bangs is always to do point cutting, because that way you know that it's at least blended and it's going to be soft, so you won't have any like really harsh lines, even if you do make a little bit of a mistake. I'm just gonna finish this without talking, because I almost just messed this up. Okay guys, I really almost had a crisis there. I almost took way too much off of this side. I actually did take a little bit too much off of this side. I had to go back and do more on this side. That's literally what I just said that you shouldn't do, but I was talking too much. I think it's looking pretty good. I'm not completely sure about this side, like how it's blending, but I kind of want to wait until I do like a proper blowout and just see how it's sitting, because again, I can always take off more, but I can't put it back on once I cut it off, and I already kind of like messed it up. So I think from here, I'm just gonna finish by doing a quick trim off of my face framing. I kind of want to keep the length that I have in the face framing area, but I do want to just make sure that those hairs are still getting trimmed too and staying healthy, and also just help kind of blend those bangs that I just cut into the rest of my hair. So I'm just slide cutting, but I'm hardly taking off any length. It's the easiest way to do this. Shake the hairs out. I really want to like restyle my hair now and see how it looks, but I think it looks pretty good. It's sitting kind of how I wanted it to. It looks definitely healthier, especially the ends. They were so just like straggly, gross, but it looks so much better. I'm really happy with that. And one more thing I forgot to do, pull all of this hair up at the back and just make sure that the back is even. Which it's not. I'm gonna trim that point in the middle. Also, just want to see how it would look if I were to put this in a ponytail. Okay. Okay, she's pretty cute. I could do more off of here, but like, that would be too much anyway. This is actually perfect. I should just stop messing with it while I'm ahead. Okay, yeah. I'm happy with this, yay. Okay guys, I think that is it. I'm gonna stop messing with my hair before I mess it up completely. But I'm really happy with how it came out. I think it looks pretty close to my inspo picture, so I'm happy. I can't wait to restyle it and see like how it looks freshly styled. But yeah, new haircut, new year, new me. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope you found some of those tips I mentioned helpful in some way, especially this one. Like, please don't use scissors like this on your hair, please. I'm literally begging you. Again, the links to my scissors and all of the other tools I'm using, clips, comb, I think that's pretty much all I used, but it's all linked in the description box and on my Amazon storefront. And let me know if you have any questions down below in the comment section as well. I'd be happy to answer them and chat with you guys. Also, if you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you're not already. Hopefully you guys have been enjoying the slightly new style of content if you are a regular subscriber. I've been sort of experimenting with a new style of mainly editing, but kind of a new format overall, so hopefully you guys are enjoying it. Let me know in the comments down below as well. But that is it for today, guys. I have been talking enough, so hope you enjoyed today's video. Thank you so much for watching and being here, and I will see you in the next one. Bye. I almost forgot to show the back. Wait, I have an idea. Okay, I think we're even. It's good.